Hi there, Mark Presnell, also known as Mr. Integration. Today I want to introduce you to a new business partner of mine, Quirk.
Hi, Mike.
Greg and I have been doing some interesting work around process intelligence, and I've asked Greg to join me for one of these videos to actually show the power of his software, TimlinePI. I think you're going to be blown away, and I think this is particularly relevant to any of our existing customers where we are already talking to your ERP data, your business process data for your e-commerce integration. But with a little bit of tweaking, we can actually show you some amazing insights to your data using Greg's platform. So Greg, tell us a little bit about yourself and TimlinePI.
Thanks, Mark. Hey, TimlinePI, fantastic application. It's a process intelligence software. I've teamed up with TimlinePI over the past 6 months. Prior to that, I was doing some consulting, working with organizations around process improvement, continuous improvement, bottleneck analysis, etc., etc. And since bringing on TimlinePI to assist with that, it's been a revelation in the sense that not only are you now being able to talk with the customer's staff, but you're also able to actually take their data, because customers and organizations are sitting, as you rightly say, on a wealth of data within their business that is often not being utilized to its fullest.
Exactly.
And what we're able to do with TimlinePI is ingest or upload process-specific data from multiple applications and multiple systems, and allow the TimlinePI platform to actually string that data together and paint and display exactly what your end-to-end process execution looks like.
Yeah.
Very powerful stuff that is data-driven. There's no guesswork. It's actually providing pure, exactly scientific insights into what's going on in your business.
Yeah. What struck me was the visual display, the graphical display, your what did you call them? The Visio type flows.
Yeah, your holistic process flow.
Seeing bottlenecks building up and actually applying costs to them and seeing what if a change on a process would provide in terms of immediate savings to generate targets for teams in certain areas of the business. It's really amazing stuff.
Absolutely, and the power's in the actual timelines per se, being able to drill down exactly to each individual process flow, not only on just duration, but actually cost and your cost to serve. You know, how much is your process execution costing you the business, and where should you be looking within those process events or steps or parts of your process to actually start looking at where you could actually reduce, become more efficient, and remove bottlenecks from your process. From
your process, yes. So well, let's have a look at the demo. I'm excited. So we'll be back after this.
Right, what we're going to demonstrate today is the uploading of a data file into TimlinePI, and then watch TimlinePI provide some real data-driven insights into an organization's end-to-end process execution and how those processes look within the business. So the data file we have here is a order-to-cash data file, a pretty common process use case within an organization whereby an order is received, you check on a customer, you check your stock, you dispatch and pack your stock, the stock is shipped and the goods are accepted at the customer end. Now, in this data set, we have information and data from a number of data sources, because a process flow might not be contained within a single system or application. It might go from a CRM or an online portal to a CRM into an ERP system, a SQL database or any database. So what we can do, and we have the tools within TimlinePI, is to actually do the joins and bring all these data sets together. And there's 3 mandatory data elements or fields that TimlinePI needs to create insights from your data. And one is a time and date stamp of when something took place. The second one is what took place, or a process step. In this instance, they're well-defined process steps. However, they could be codes or numbers, which we can then do lookup tables and create and transform them into the language you use within your organization. And the third data element is a unique identifier. In this instance, we are using order ID. However, that may be an invoice number, a purchase order, a customer number, a claim number, a case number, anything that is actually unique to that process as it weaves its way through your organization. So to the right of that, we have a couple of other data elements, or attributes rather, that we are going to upload as well. Now, TimlinePI does not require these elements or attributes. However, it's great to put these in and upload them as well, because that just gives them more granular insight into your process execution. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into TimlinePI now, and I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to call this demo 1, and I'm going to save that. Now the first thing TimlinePI is going to be asking me to do is upload your data. As you can see, TimlinePI is a fully cloud hosted application. I'm now going to go and browse for my file and upload that CSV file. Now, TimlinePI has already grabbed the column headings and it's uploaded a sample of the file. Now it's asking me to map my columns. So as mentioned before, there's the 3 mandatory fields are highlighted in orange. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that to the respective column. The event name is the workflow step, and the timestamp is pretty self-explanatory. Now we've got the mandatory fields mapped, and now I'm going to grab the other attributes because I want to upload those as well. So that assumes the name of the column heading in your data file. We can change that if you want to call that staff, because that's the term you use in your organization. You're very easy to do. We're going to do that, and yeah, we'll leave it at that, right?
Let's see.
Oh, there we go. Right, I missed one. No, we got them all. Right, so we've got all the data files, columns mapped. Now what we're going to do is upload and start that upload, right? So I'm going to click that. As you can see, this is being uploaded to the cloud servers. It's telling me immediately that there is 11,073 process events. Now, a process event is a step in a process, and a timeline, it's already identified that this data set contains 1,300 end-to-end processes, which TimlinePI determines or defines as a timeline. So one timeline is made up of one or many events. So within 25 seconds, we've uploaded the file. It's merged the events into timelines. From the merging of the timelines, it's analyzed the data, and we now have the ability to take a look at our data insights.
Awesome.
So let's go to the timeline set, right? We're going to click on that. Right, so here we have the user interface, the TimlinePI user interface. It tells us that we have uploaded 11,073 events. From that, we've created 1,300 timelines, and the date range of my data covers 109 days. The little bars below here just show me the timelines per week. So that's the timelines per week. Nice little graph. It's also identified that there's 11 different events that they've identified that form part of your process. And with these, we can make our own and put some nice little colors against them, or we can actually upload an icon if you want. We'll just put a couple of colors alongside these for the time being.
And it's already put them in a logical order too.
It has, but it's also actually you can click on there and see the occurrences of each of those, which process events happens the most.
The most, yeah.
Or which one appears in the most timelines.
Right.
So you've got some insights right off the bat there. So I'm just gonna close that for the time being. Mm-hmm. It's also shown me from our 11 events, the first event 77% of the time is your order received, and there's your descending frequency of first events, and likewise your last events in descending frequency. So you've got already some insights around that. Some processes do not always end with order complete, and nor do they actually start with order received. Now I'm going to come back to the screen because a really cool feature of TimlinePI over and above the stats and analysis that it's provided here is actually being able to map your process. Yeah. So to provide a Visio diagram of your process in not what you think it is, but this is actually how it's really executed, because it's taken your system data and uploaded that and provided exactly how it's being executed. So we're going to go to the schema module, and we're going to go and say we want to initialize a new schema. Now we're going to select every process event. Now you don't have to, it has the flexibility for us to exclude a few, because you might identify that there's a couple of process steps there that might be legacy process steps that you might want to exclude. But for sake of today, we're going to actually select them all. We're now going to generate the default schema. So TimlinePI is going to go away, and bang, off the bat, it's generated your default schema. And if we save that, we have the ability to identify exactly the throughput in each step of how many processes are going through each stage. But to make that and animate that, we have the ability to actually show you what your process flow looks like. So let me just press play here. So that there identifies and shows me how your processes are flowing through your business.
How awesome is this?
As they change color, it shows how your process is aging, and as they slow down, it shows how they're bottlenecking. So really powerful insights straight off the bat around your process execution. This is not what some business analyst, and no disrespect to business analysts, this is not what some business analyst has defined. This is actually what your data is telling you how your processes are being executed. So I'm gonna stop that, because that's really cool to show a holistic view of your processes. However, what I want to show, and before I go back to the main menu, is TimlinePI's value is not only just about your holistic process, it shows every single variation of your process. So if we go to the path analysis module and I click on that, this will show every single variation of your process. And what we see here is your order to cash process has 15 variations to it. And what it does, it lumps them into the percentage of frequency, highest to lowest. So in this instance, we can see that 36% of your processes follow a really cool happy path.
That's the ideal path.
That's ideal path. And if you're wanting to look for some automation or some intelligent automation or whatever you want to call it, there's a really good starting point. However, if you're looking for areas where you want to start doing some remediation or look at some bottlenecks, well, you've got some really cool insights right there. From that, we can also just show, let's have a look at the average duration of those. So it's now going to show you the duration. So that's really powerful if you want to see how long and how your processes, the time it's taking for your processes, and all their variations. So before I carry on there, just one last thing. If you want to have a look at it as a schema view, we can do the Visio flow as well. So there you have the Visio flow of all your processes, all 15 of them, every single variation thereof.
So on the left is just a straight line,
straight through,
perfect line.
And then you've got some variations happening all the way through. My favorite is the path, because that actually shows the jumping around backwards and forwards. So that's pretty powerful. Now, I'm going to go back to the home screen quickly just to show you a few things on the home screen. The average duration for an end-to-end process is 8 days. You click on that, it gives you a great spread. It shows that your minimum time frame is 2.15 days, 2 days, 3 hours rather. Your average is 8 days, 14 hours, and your maximum is 21 days. And you can drag that along to see where the spread of your processes are. So for example, if we want to start now having a look at any process that's over the average, if we just quickly click on 9 there, it'll show you the spread. And if I apply that filter, everything in my data set now reflects the 436 process flows that are greater than 9 days.
Wow.
Not only that, but it actually, if I go to the path flow, it's now only showing 7 paths, because those are the paths here that reflect how those lengthy process flows are being executed.
Right.
So really powerful. Now we can also delve a little bit deeper into some insights around the breakdown of those. So if we went into the breakdown analysis and we selected a dimension and we just said, right, okay, let's find out if those lengthy time frames are based on a day of the week, because these are the additional data attributes that we added in. Well, it looks kind of normal. There's nothing that jumps out at us. Is it a location? It looks pretty normal there. Is it a shift? Oh, yep, look, there's your lengthy times now taking place on your third shift. Now, if you want to delve deep into this and do some more root cause analysis, we can apply that filter. Once again, we see it drive down into 271 of those for the third shift. And if I now then go again and say, well, let's have a look at who's actually executing those orders on that on that third shift. Click on the employee, click done. And it shows me Thomas Moore is processing 58% or 155 of those lengthy processes on that third shift. And if we want to really have a look at Thomas Moore, we can click on Thomas Moore and we can go now to the timeline module, which will show every single one of Thomas Moore's processes that he's carried out. And by clicking on them, we can then have an identify exactly how. We can have a look at some sub-processes, and we can see there that the Thomas Moore, this process took 14 days, 15 hours at 11 events, and we can now start doing some real deep down analysis on working through why these are taking so long. So one thing I've focused on here is time. The other aspect on a process is cost, and I'm going to quickly show you something. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but there is the ability to configure costs, and let's just add a few costs. And this is working with your teams to identify, well, we know that to onboard a new customer is a cost to our business. We know that that is a fixed cost. We know that is a specific amount because we've got the stats, we've got the insights on that, and we know that that's $34. We're going to save that. I'm going to add a new cost. I'm going to select another event. I'm going to do goods shipped. We know that shipping costs us. Yep. I'm going to add that. It's also going to be a fixed cost. That's going to be $25. I'm going to save that. Now we've got two. I'm going to just one more cost because we know that not all of our costs are fixed costs. We have a restocking cost, but we know that that is a time-based cost, and that time-based cost is a time-based cost based on any subsequent event. And that specific is a rate, an hourly rate, and we're going to say that is $12 an hour. And we're going to save that. Now you can see that we've configured some costs. What you're going to see is I'm going to accept these costs, and you're going to see these two figures change because what it's going to do is it's going to now calculate your cost to serve, your process cycle costs and your cost to serve over those days. So I'm going to close that. And now what we see is that we have, if I go home again, we now have 109 days worth of data, and the cost to serve over those 109 days is $88,000.
Wow.
And our average process cost is $67, and we can see it goes from $0 up to $769 for an individual process flow. So let's once again have a look and see anything over 100. 100, I'm going to click on that, and we can actually even do it right from here. We can actually start looking and go, let's just have a look at an order received by location. We can click on there, and that there's going to show me as well my spread over that location. So that's pretty tidy. But if I go there and I apply my filter, we got 77 outlier high cost orders, and we can then go once again into our path analysis, which it shows just one path there. So there's a great insight there as to why this is taking so long. And we also now have the ability, because we added costs, we have the ability to look at the average cost of each of those.
Wow.
So really insightful stuff.
Yeah.
Now, if we wanted to look at holistically where our bottlenecks are, we can start looking at some bottlenecks here. Let's click on the bottleneck module. Now, bottlenecks can be measured on three factors: time from an event to the next, the time from the event to the previous. The two that I'm going to show today is the time between events and the cost of events. So if we click on time between events and we look at the total time here and we click on that, the most time that's being spent, or 30% of your time in each of your processes, is between two events, between the order hold to packing stock and the goods shipped to goods accepted. And here's a great opportunity for us to do some scenario what if analysis. And we see here on average 63 hours is being taken between order hold and stock packed. Now, what if we had a goal to say we want to reduce that down to 45 hours? Well, you're going to save 14,750 hours. And if we reduce the one below from 39 hours 53 to 25 hours, we're now saving 27,000 hours. So real good tool to be sitting with your team and staff to identify areas within the business that they can apply time, resource and effort to looking into.
Wow, that's awesome.
Now, one other thing which is the bean counters love is the costs, bottlenecks per cost. If we have a quick look at this, and admittedly I've only added, we've only configured 3 costs, so it's slightly skewed. But from here, we can see that 41% of our cost is spent on the restocking activity. Mm-hmm. It costs $118 per event, but if we now say, well, let's take that down to $85, well, that's going to save us $10,300. Yep. And likewise, we can play with a few of the others and start really targeting where you're going to apply some effort and time and resource to work on the business to bring some efficiencies to play.
And so this can actually help set meaningful goals with teams.
Absolutely,
to say, look,
absolutely.
If we can get this down to $85, this is what it'll do for
100%,
us.
100%.
Awesome.
The analysis modules on the right here, there's plenty of them that we haven't touched, but we've touched on the main ones, which I believe just adds huge value and insight into an organization's process execution.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Thank you very much. Right, so how cool was that? That was an awesome demo. Thank you, Greg.
No, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to show the power of process intelligence.
It's just awesome to see that display, that visualization and the analysis capabilities with what's really a very simple data set you use there.
A CSV file of your data over a period of time.
Yeah. But I mean, even just the amount of data, the columns, I mean, what, you had 6 columns, three of them, the mandatory columns.
Yeah, three mandatory fields with your data and 3 other data attributes.
Yeah. So some really awesome insights there. So what we're doing, if you are interested in seeing this in your business with your own data, we've actually decided to put out a special offer for a limited time, as they say, for a proof of value to show with your own data this process, give you the full access to the system for you to analyze, to do your bottlenecks and your cost analysis, just as Greg showed us just now, and maybe actually discover some amazing insights for a fixed price, a low cost, depending obviously on the complexity of your business. But talk to us and we'll get that set up. So we're ready to go. So Greg.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you, Mike. We want to get the message out there. There's a new way of looking at process and analyzing your processes.
Yeah.
I recommend you all have a look at TimlinePI on LinkedIn and YouTube. There's tons of material, not only product material, but enablement material. They have an online knowledge base, which is in the public domain. So it's a very much a software application for the consumer, for the business.
Yeah. Awesome. So thanks again, Greg, for the demo. Really good to have you, and thanks for joining us on the video. So
thanks,
I hope that was valuable to you all. Thank you very much.